Um, welcome everybody to the Geek Alley Gaming and a new segment I like to call "Way Too Late Gaming Reviews." That's right, people.
because
Way too late.
because
So
it's obviously way too late.
way too late. This game's been out for over a year, and yeah. So it's the perfect one to start this off with. And I brought with me the game idea guy.
So hello there, everybody. And like obviously, I'm one of the perfect choices to talk about this game.
Yes, you are because I haven't completely beat it yet, but I'm far enough that I can go in and at least give my thoughts on it in a very clear and concise manner, especially since it has been out for over a year. So, the game we're talking about this evening is Project Cross Zone 2. Uh,
Yes.
now, the first game is, well, I guess a little backstory. This game is a culmination of an amalgamation of studios, basically Sega, Namco, Capcom, and Monolith in this one, as well as Nintendo in the second one. But in the first one, it was just those three companies, basically, in
Hmm.
the first 3DS game, Project Cross Zone.
Yeah.
Um, and it basically follows a story that involves various characters from various series. Some of them you haven't seen in a while, which they actually make mention to a lot while they try to figure out how to stop said uh, evildoers, mostly from villains from other games in those from those companies, and the hilarity and fourth wall breaking that ensues. Am I kind of in the ballpark? Because this is kind of hard to follow the story sometimes.
Oh, no, no, you're right. You were right on the ball with what you just
Okay.
said.
And people, the reason why I play this game is very simple. This is like it's it's just funny.
Yeah.
There's really no other way to say it. It's just funny. It's a lot of nostalgia. It's a lot of fourth wall breaking. It's a lot of hilarious one-liners, and especially in part two. Geez, they like cranked it. The first one had a lot in it, and you would think there was like, okay, that was cute. This, yeah. The second one blows the first one out the water within the first during the prologue.
Yes, it does. Oh yeah.
So I
10,
mean,
10 to 20 minutes in, that game gets you rolling.
yeah. um, there is sexual innuendos, a lot of them. There are,
Oh gosh.
and the majority of them come from like one character.
The majority of them come. Yes, Xiaomu. She is off the rock.
Yeah,
Wait, I almost said something I shouldn't have said. I stopped myself. I knew where that sentence was going.
yeah. But it and the way they play it for comedic effect, and it actually works because you spend so much time laughing at what they're saying and what they're doing that you kind of like some of the stuff actually goes over your head. Because I've actually missed a couple of jokes at first, and then I went back and like, oh my god. So yeah, it that happens a lot in this game. And
It's because the context doesn't hit you until later on. You just like, oh,
yeah, like you'll be laughing at something else, and you're like, oh crap, yeah. So it, it's one of those titles in which like it's basically like a love letter to like fans of those particular games, especially on the Capcom side, because a lot of the Capcom characters you don't really see them that much anymore. So
yeah.
it's nice to actually have a game where a lot of their characters can come back at least and show up, and they do reference that in both games. Actually, they reference that.
They reference it a lot more in Project Cross Zone too.
Yeah, about why they don't where they've been doing what they've been doing and stuff of that nature, which is Xiaomu once again.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because oh, and before we go into like combat and stuff like that, I will say this: like, I do like the way the game looks and plays, even though I'm not more. I kind of hate grid based RPGs, kind of. I just don't. I hate the whole having to walk up the grid. I'm more of an action RPG guy myself. If I had to have a choice, I'm more action based or a specific type of turn based. But this actually works in and of how they have it set up. But for the most part, I kind of hate it because I hate having to like, okay, you got to walk up to this point and then stop. Then you got to walk your other character up to this point and stop. That kind of gets on my nerves.
Yeah,
from time to time. It just
I can see. I can understand where that gets annoying because you want to go and get right into the action, but it stops you. It's just like, no, you can't move any further than this.
Yeah. So, but I will give you this: on the 3DS, it works better. Now, I would be pissed off if it was like on a console. I'd be upset, but on the 3DS, it kind of works because most of the stuff is bite sized anyway. So,
and on top of that, you can take it with you wherever you go. So even if you have to make those pauses, you can, stop and fold up your 3DS and put it in sleep and take it somewhere and then play it later when you want to.
Yeah, which is a good thing because I'm going to tell you right now, them chapters are long as hell,
especially toward the end of the game.
I'm like, dude, I spent like just for example today, I had to go get my car serviced, and I was in there for an hour. I spent 1 hour on one chapter.
It was chapter 15, wasn't it?
Actually, no, it was chapter 12.
Oh yeah, you getting close to that point then.
Yeah, so I'm like, geez, dude, because I thought I was done, and nope, they still going. So some of the chapters can get pretty long. Now, at first, they weren't long. They were long, but they weren't that long. Like the prologue chapters, they range between 15 to 30 minutes, depending, because there is a lot of dialogue in the game. So a lot of it's voice acted, but some of it isn't. And that's what your chapters are bookended with a lot of exposition, fight bad guys, and then wrap up exposition, go to the next chapter.
Which is a good process, to be honest. For this, it's a good process.
Yeah, it is, but it's one of the things like you said, once you get in them later chapters and it start rolling on about an hour, you like, okay, dude, this up. I'm laughing, but I'm getting tired. But I think that's the beauty of the game because I think they mean for you to just play a chapter at a time. They don't mean for you to play it like.
No, they don't. They don't mean for you to sit and grind out 5-6 chapters at a time.
Nah. If you can, you must not be an adult. But
no, you could probably do it with up to chapter 10. You could probably grind it out, but after that, it's not worth it. It is not worth trying to do it. You're better off breaking it up into bite-sized parts after that.
Okay. So yeah, I don't plan on doing that. I've been, okay, let me get a chapter in, like, because my best days to game is like Saturday. So I think the most I've done in one sitting is 2 chapters, and that was like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
for 2 chapters.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, let me just do it like that. So I try to do at least 1 chapter, a playthrough, and let that be the end of it, and then come back the next day or a couple days later, something like that. But on the all in all, I actually like a lot of what the game has. There's a lot of good artwork in it. The specials in this game, the fighting specials in this game are actually crazy. I don't know about turning the 3D on for that. There's a few that I turn the 3D on for, and I can't tell if it actually enhances it or not. To me, it kind of doesn't, but that's just me. For some reason, this game, it just doesn't enhance the experience. The 3D doesn't, for me anyway. But I will say that most of the specials, especially once you start getting a lot of them, they get amazingly crazy and amazingly high combo points. They go up and up and up in number. So
and they look far more beautiful as time goes on when you unlock more moves.
Okay. Did you play most of those in with the 3D on? Because like a couple of them to me,
I
it
played a
didn't.
good portion of them with the 3D on, but after a while, some of them it starts to mess with your eyes a little bit. So I was
Okay.
like, I'm
Because
turning this off. It looks nice.
I
Yeah.
mean, because the 3D didn't do nothing for me for like the only one it did something for me with was the Strider and the guy from Shinobi.
Hatsuma,
Yeah,
Strider and
Hatsuma.
Hatsuma. Yeah.
Theirs was like the 3D was popping out, but like nobody else has really popped out to me.
No, it's the first game. Like all of the specials really popped with the 3D, but after I say for this game, they all look a little better because it just looks like the characters are sliding along the planes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really worth it for this game for the 3D.
Okay.
It just in my opinion, the game is still great, but the 3D doesn't really change the experience much.
Okay. Because yeah, that's what I was saying. I think like only a couple of them when you're doing some of the specials, the 3D actually pops. Other than that, I keep it off.
Now, see, the ones that I liked in 3D were Strider and Hatsuma, Chun Li and Xiao Yu, Kazuya and Jin because that one looks awesome in 3D.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And,
That's the other one. That is the other one. Yeah.
and what was the other one? I think it was X and Zero. Those were the only ones that really stood out in the 3D to me when I did their specials.
Okay, now I will say this: if you do have a Kazuya Gen, cut the 3D on when you do it because it's
Yes,
beautiful.
that shit looks because it's all the stuff that's reminiscent of Tekken is like just thrown right in there.
And they end it with how they end the Bandai Namco.
They're basically how they open up all their games now.
Yeah, they end it.
Them,
They end the combo like that. It's a thing of beauty.
it definitely is.
So, yeah. So let me ask you: is there anything like you didn't really like other than like maybe the 3D being a little off?
I guess that not all of the characters from the first game from Project Cross Zone translated over. That's about the only other thing I could complain about. Because I was hoping for a much bigger roster. I was like, okay, this one dropped, and we had like I think it's like 20 teams, and then 20 individuals. So it's like 30 characters, and they kind of docked it a little bit. I mean, but that's about it. That's the only other thing I could complain about.
I think that's because in the first one it was just Namco, Sega, and Capcom.
Yeah,
Like
and
Nintendo wasn't even involved in it.
They threw Nintendo in the mix and it's like, hold up, we might have to cut this roster down a little bit.
Just because like you got some Fire Emblem characters in there.
Which is fine.
I realized I've been saying Lucina's name wrong the whole time. It's Lucina, not Lucina.
Oh, it is Lucina.
Yeah.
Everybody been saying it wrong, niggas.
Everybody's been saying it wrong. Her name is Lucina. I'm like, I feel like an idiot.
But the bad thing, you know what though? When I saw that they announced the Fire Emblem characters, I said, why not announce two of the Shining Force characters, like two of the originals, and just put them in there along with them?
That's what because I thought they was probably gonna have a couple of them as as the sub characters.
Yeah, but they didn't.
They didn't.
I mean, they could have at least if they would have at least brought back the boy. I forgot his name. I think it's Toma, who was in the first one, and put him in as a single. That would have been a good idea because I would have paired him up with Lucina and Chrom.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. I mean, I guess it was one of those situations where they didn't want the roster going too big because there are some Tales of Vesperia characters in there.
Yeah. But you got all these characters with similar type like worlds and like similar times. So I was like, yeah, that would have been a cool idea.
Well, yeah, because the one thing I didn't get was like when Leon shows up from Resident Evil, but you already got Chris and Jill in there. I'm like, y'all probably could have cut Leon out and just, if you're gonna do it like that, just keep it with maybe two per series or something like that, 2 or 3 per series, and let that be the end of it. Because you see a lot of other characters show up. I mean, like Ada shows up, Leon shows up, Tiki from Fire Emblem, she shows up for a little bit. Who else? There's a couple of other characters that show up too that especially where I'm at. I'm like they're not like main characters, like sub characters, but they're all over the place. So I guess they were playing rock paper scissors as to how many people they could bring in from each series.
They probably wanted to do a whole lot more characters and just looked at the roster and said we gotta cut some of these down. Because I imagine they probably had a roster of like 70 characters.
I would have thought so too, especially when you start throwing in Fire Emblem. Because I'm like, okay, why didn't Marth show up?
I can understand why. I can kind of understand because Awakening right this moment was the most popular game.
Okay.
When that was coming out, so I can understand why they didn't go with Marth, Roy, Ike, or Lynn, or like any of those characters. I can understand why they didn't jump back to them.
But you were thinking they were going to show up, didn't you?
I kind of had a hope. I had a little bit of hope.
Because when I saw Lucina and Chrom, I'm like, okay, so Marth's going to show up at some point, especially with how the story goes. Between like they're jumping not only time and space, but they're jumping time as well. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, at least a cameo would have been nice because I would have thought like you would have at least got a cameo of like a Roy and Lynn.
Yeah. Together,
that would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been a nice little Easter egg.
Or even Robin. Robin could have been they could have, but I guess they were like, which Robin do we use?
Yeah, they probably didn't want to hear it if they pissed people off. They probably didn't want to hear it. So I completely understand that. Yeah, I can completely understand why they probably kept that out.
Yeah, but you want to know one of the funniest things with the game about how Chrom and Lucina, I gotta say it right. This is how everybody looks at him when they hear that she's his daughter. They look at him like, hold on, what?
Oh yeah.
How early were you banking?
Yeah. And they bring that up like 5 times.
They got to explain, no, she's from the future. Like, I haven't had her daughter yet.
And nobody believes them. Nobody still believes them. They don't believe them.
They kind of believe them, but it's like they're just iffy about it. They kind of well, that makes more sense than her being your direct daughter because something ain't right here.
First they was damn near calling him a pervert.
Like, yeah, because they've been like you, like, I don't know if you came across them, but you probably haven't yet because you said you're on chapter 12. Mm-hmm. Like when they get there's like a really perverted little boy in the game. I can't remember his name, but I remember him very well because Vacheron is like enthralled with him. He's like he's like, you must teach me your ways.
Oh god. Okay, that's gonna be awesome. All right.
Yeah. Like if you see it, like once you get to him, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what he was talking about.
Yeah, but my thing is, I'm wondering, like, how did they come up with all these jokes?
I wish I knew.
I'm like, how? Because I'm like, the jokes are specific to like the character and the series they come from.
I have a feeling it's just like they even if they hadn't played any of some of the games that some of these characters came from, they really studied the lore for each one of the worlds and all the characters, and that's probably how they came up with all the dialogue and all the jokes.
Because they got it right. I mean, they even got stuff from Dot Hack right.
Oh, they got plenty of stuff from Dot Hack right.
I'm just like, God damn, because I haven't played Dot Hack since like the PS2 days.
Oh, I haven't either. Oh, I wish that would come
And
back.
I don't even have my PS2 anymore. That's what I mean, like PS2 days. When I say PS2 days, I mean I haven't had my PS2 since 2007.
Oh yeah, that's a long time.
So I don't even know where it is. I kind of lost it when I was moving. My brother probably has it, but yeah, that's how long. And I've played like I think up to like the second or third one.
Well, it was Sign, Infection, and Mutation.
I think I played through Infection. I think that was the second one. So
yeah, that was the second one.
Yeah, I played through that one.
No, it was Infection, Mutation, and Quarantine. That's what it was. Dot Hack Sign was the anime.
I remember playing 2 of them.
Dot Hack Sign is the daggone anime.
Yeah, it's not the anime. Trust me, it used to throw me off too because I used to watch it on Cartoon Network at night and then play the game. Weird.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
So, yeah, they got a lot of stuff from that, right? Even what's that old Capcom game, Captain Commander?
Yeah, Captain Commando, yeah.
Yeah, they got stuff from that, right? Even with him calling in everybody.
Yeah. Oh, if you pair him with Ken Ryu, he makes they talk about God joining the Commandos.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm no joke. No,
Oh,
because
I know what I'm pairing them with.
Ken, Ken Ryu will talk like it's like it pops up every once in a while. They bring it. He'll be talking about it. He'll be talking about like recruiting them or something, and they say something about Guy, and Ryu's like, hold up, wait. You're like, what? Like, I know him. What?
That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, if you play this game, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and I've been gaming for a while, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't even remember or even know that's in the game. Go fig.
You will learn, even if you don't sit there throughout all the dialogue and pay attention to all the dialogue. All the character bios will teach you so much stuff about the worlds that the characters have come from. Like, teaches you a lot.
Which is a very good thing, actually.
Like, there's literally a big glossary for all the characters and all the enemies in this game. Everybody that you come across, you get more information on them. For anybody who wants to be like a gaming history buff, this game and the first and the other one on the 3DS teaches you a lot about these characters.
Yeah, I mean, because it kind of reminds me of like what they do in Smash Bros. With the trophies.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. But they do it via like dialogue and all that. They usually crack a couple jokes, but you still learn like a lot about each particular character's game.
Yeah,
which I'm always happy to know a little bit more.
Which is
stuff that doesn't come over, especially on the Capcom side, since we know God knows they only know about Resident Evil Street Fighter.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Resident Evil Street Fighter, but there's plenty of other stuff that they have released.
They have like over 200. They have like over 200 characters they don't even use.
Yeah, this is just like they're just sitting there collecting dust
at all.
And that's what was so happy to see some of them get used in this.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I'm happy they decided to use them at all. It's just one of those situations because you never know when they're going to use them, especially seeing as how, like I said before, the only franchise they pretend like they have is, Street Fighter and Resident Evil. And the funny thing about it is, remember that meme that was going around a while back talking about Nintendo's done more with Mega Man than Capcom has in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Why is that ringing true? Because he is all in this Project Crossover.
Well, yeah, in this one you get him a lot earlier than in the first one.
Yeah, way early. Him and
Zero. Because in the first game I played, I think I was like 35, 40 hours in before he showed up. This game was like half that time.
No, he shows up like in chapter 8.
Yeah, it was like way early. I was like, thank goodness. Like, that was a hell of a grind.
A lot of power. He showed up with a lot of power, which I'm personally happy for because I was getting destroyed when he showed up.
But that was the purpose, though. Like they made a lot of they literally balanced him and Zero out to the level of the enemies of that stage, or that chapter. Mm-hmm. So you basically were struggling no matter what you had. You literally have to struggle through that chapter to get them, which I'm fine with because it just makes it feel more epic when they show up and just wipe everything out.
Yeah, and it make it look easy. Kind of pissed me off a little bit, but yeah, it make it look easy.
No, all they did was pull a Sonic from Smash.
Yeah, basically.
Show up at the last minute and save everybody from what was kicking everyone's behind.
Yeah, that reminds me. I need to do a way too late review on that one as well. But that being said, I personally, because now the game is what $19.
Yeah, I mean, well, technically, it's still for much cheaper than that if you shop around.
Yeah, but I think because I got mine brand new at Best Buy for like $19. So
I got mine off Amazon for like $13. because I got mine directly from Namco Bandai too. That's the best.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They typically they'll put some of their games on sale on Amazon for anybody who might be a Namco Bandai fan.
Oh, yeah, I need to start hanging out on Amazon a little bit more then. But yeah, people, you can find the game on your it's for the 3DS, of course, but you can find the game for the low. And
I'm going to tell you, do not buy it digitally unless you really absolutely have to have it digitally, because that's where it's more expensive. Oddly enough.
That is odd. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, I don't think I bought. Do I buy anything digital for the 3DS? Just the indie games. That's the only thing I got digital for the 3DS. Most of my stuff is off the card anyway. But yeah, this game totally worth, especially if you're a fan of like gaming in general and you've been gaming for a while. I don't think like if you just started gaming like in 7th gen, you probably ain't gonna get half of the stuff they're talking about. Honestly,
you won't get the character specific stuff, but you might still find it funny.
Yeah, you might still find it funny, but you really won't get like a lot of stuff that we will probably be talking about. But it's still a fun game. I like the combat. I like the specials. I just don't like the grid based stuff. But that's just me. That's a personal little nitpick of mine when it comes to RPGs. But I like the character variety. I like the combos. I like the story as crazy as it is, because it's one of those crazy anime. You just got to go with the stories. So, and
it's one of them situations. Just a bunch of stuff happening. And you can't do anything to control it.
Yeah, so just go with it. Just go with it and don't say nothing.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. So me personally, I would say if you are interested, if it piques your interest, go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
I would say look up some YouTube videos on like the character introduction dialogue, and if that doesn't hook you, then you probably won't like it.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually perfect. Yeah, do that.
And there are plenty of YouTube videos with it on there.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them where people laugh all the way through it, so you might want to find one where people just
there's one particular playlist. I don't know the person's name, but I think I saved the playlist. But yeah, they let it play silently, and you get to laugh on your own.
Yeah, which is good. But hope you guys enjoyed this way too late review. I'll probably be doing a few more of these in the coming weeks, just because it sounds like a fun idea to do. So, Andre, any final thoughts?
The only final thought that I want to impart is that someone does smash in this game. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say when. But if you're interested, you got to play it to find out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I already know who it is, and it's just I haven't got to that part yet, but I already know who it is. But you'll probably be able to figure out if you play a lot of video games. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be back. I'll be back sometime other with some other kind of craziness and on my way too late reviews. But I hope you guys enjoy the content, and I will see you guys on my next vid. Peace out, peeps.
Peace out.